from the depths of the ocean to the vast reaches of space, and even some quirky corners of everyday life, these incredible truths are guaranteed to make you question everything you thought you knew. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed, because truth really is stranger than fiction.
The story of Mickey and Minnie Mouse isn't just a fairy tale on screen, it also has a magical real-life counterpart. Wayne Allwine, the voice actor for Mickey Mouse, and Russi Taylor, the voice actor for Minnie Mouse, were married in real life. This heartwarming connection added a layer of authenticity and charm to the iconic Disney characters. Wayne Allwine began voicing Mickey Mouse in 1977, taking over the role after Jimmy McDonald. Russi Taylor became the official voice of Minnie Mouse in 1986, and the two met while working together on various Disney projects. Over time, their professional relationship blossomed into a romantic one. The couple married in 1991 and remained together until Wayne Allwine's passing in 2009. Their love story mirrored the affection between Mickey and Minnie, capturing the hearts of Disney fans worldwide. Colleagues often remarked on their genuine affection for each other, which radiated in their performances. Despite being married, they kept their personal relationship relatively private, focusing instead on their work and their dedication to bringing these beloved characters to life. Their union is a testament to how art and life can intertwine in magical ways. It's a charming anecdote that further endears the legacy of Mickey and Minnie Mouse to fans, highlighting the enduring power of love both on and off the screen.
The decision to give Barbie a complete formal name was quite strategic for Mattel. In 1959, when Barbie was introduced, it was revolutionary to create a doll with such a developed identity. Previous dolls were typically baby dolls meant for nurturing play, but Barbie was designed to be an independent young woman with her own life story. Her formal name helped establish her as a character that girls could imagine as a real person with a career, home, and lifestyle. Ruth Handler's inspiration came from observing her daughter Barbara playing with paper dolls, often giving them adult roles. The name Barbara was naturally chosen from Handler's daughter, but the addition of Millicent Roberts helped create what marketing professionals would now call a fuller brand identity. The name had a sophisticated, slightly upper-middle-class feel that aligned with Barbie's fashionable image and aspirational qualities. Over the decades, Mattel has built an extensive universe around Barbie, complete with family members who also have full names. For instance, her younger sister is named Kelly Roberts, though later renamed Chelsea, and her longtime boyfriend is Kenneth Sean Carson, better known as Ken. This naming convention helped create a realistic world for children to explore through play. The choice of Millicent as a middle name is particularly interesting for the late 1950s. It has an aristocratic, almost Victorian feel, which might have been chosen to give Barbie an air of sophistication. The surname Roberts is solid and respectable, neither too fancy nor too plain-fitting for a character who is meant to be relatable yet aspirational. Throughout Barbie's various incarnations, from the original teenage fashion model to her many careers including doctor, astronaut, president and scientist, her full name has remained constant, though it's rarely used in marketing or packaging. It's more commonly found in books, character guides and official Mattel documentation, serving as a foundation for her character rather than a regularly used identifier. This attention to detail in creating Barbie's identity helped establish her as more than just a toy. She became a cultural icon who has reflected and sometimes influenced American society's views on women's roles, careers and possibilities for over 60 years. Her full name represents a thoughtful approach to character development that was ahead of its time in the toy industry.
The Wicked Bible, also known as the Adulterous Bible or Sinner's Bible, was published in 1631 by Robert Barker and Martin Lucas, the royal printers in London. Its notorious claim to fame came from a significant typographical error in the Ten Commandments, specifically in Exodus 20:14, where the word not was omitted from the seventh commandment, making it read, "Thou shalt commit adultery," instead of "Thou shalt not commit adultery." Its notorious claim to fame came from a significant typographical error in the Ten Commandments, specifically in Exodus 20:14, where the word not was omitted from the seventh commandment, making it read, "Thou shalt commit adultery," instead of "Thou shalt not commit adultery." When this error was discovered, it caused a massive scandal in England. King Charles I was furious about the mistake and summoned the printers to the Star Chamber, where they were fined £300, a massive sum at the time, equivalent to tens of thousands of dollars today, and had their printing license revoked. Most copies of the Wicked Bible were recalled and burned on orders from the king. The error is believed to have been either an accidental omission by a tired typesetter or, as some have suggested, an act of sabotage by Barker's rival printers. This mistake contributed to Robert Barker's eventual downfall. He later ended up in debtor's prison, where he died in 1645. Today, only a handful of copies of the Wicked Bible are known to exist. Estimates suggest between 11 and 20 surviving copies. These rare copies are highly valued by collectors and museums. One copy sold at auction in 2015 for £31,250. The remaining copies are held in various institutions, including the British Library, the New York Public Library, and a few private collections. The Wicked Bible serves as a remarkable example of how a single missing word can completely change the meaning of a text, and it remains one of the most famous printing errors in history. It also provides an interesting glimpse into the serious consequences that could result from printing errors in 17th century England, particularly when those errors pertained to religious texts.
Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, released in November 2019 as part of his fourth studio album After Hours, achieved the remarkable milestone of becoming Spotify's most streamed song of all time. The synth-pop track, with its heavy 1980s influence and infectious melody, surpassed Ed Sheeran's Shape of You, which had previously held the record for most streams on the platform. The song's success can be attributed to its broad appeal, combining retro synth-pop elements with modern production values. It gained significant traction not just through traditional listening but also through social media, particularly on TikTok, where it became part of various viral trends. The song's popularity was also boosted by The Weeknd's Super Bowl LV halftime show performance in 2021. Blinding Lights has accumulated billions of streams on Spotify, demonstrating remarkable staying power years after its initial release. The track's achievement is particularly notable given the intense competition in the streaming era, where songs often have shorter periods of peak popularity. Its success helped cement The Weeknd's position as one of the most influential artists of the streaming era. The song's commercial success was matched by critical acclaim. It spent a record-breaking time on Billboard's Hot 100 chart and was named the #1 greatest Hot 100 hit of all time by Billboard in 2021, surpassing Chubby Checker's The Twist. This streaming achievement on Spotify represents just one facet of the song's broader cultural impact and commercial success. Given my knowledge cutoff date of April 2024, while I can confirm the song held this record at some point, you may want to verify its current status, as streaming records can change frequently.
Elvis Presley was indeed a natural blonde, though this fact surprises many people since he was known throughout his career for his iconic jet black hair. Born with light blonde hair that gradually darkened to a sandy blonde color as he grew older, Elvis began dyeing his hair black in the early stages of his career. The decision to dye his hair black was reportedly influenced by several factors. First, Elvis idolized Tony Curtis, who had dark hair, and wanted to emulate his look. Additionally, he believed that black hair created a more striking appearance on black and white television and in photographs, which was crucial during the 1950s when most media was not in color. The dark hair also complemented his pale skin and blue eyes, creating the distinctive appearance that would become his trademark. Elvis maintained this dyed black hair throughout his career, with his natural blonde roots often needing regular maintenance. Elvis maintained this dyed black hair throughout his career, with his natural blonde roots often needing regular maintenance. His longtime hairdresser, Larry Geller, used a mixture of hair dyes, including Miss Clairol 51D and black velvet and blue black, to achieve the specific shade of black that became synonymous with Elvis's image. His longtime hairdresser, Larry Geller, used a mixture of hair dyes, including Miss Clairol 51D, and black velvet and blue black, to achieve the specific shade of black that became synonymous with Elvis's image. Even during his time in the army, Elvis continued to dye his hair, though military regulations required a more conservative style. Even during his time in the army, Elvis continued to dye his hair, though military regulations required a more conservative style. This transformation from natural blonde to dyed black hair is one of many carefully crafted elements of Elvis's iconic image, alongside his distinctive fashion choices and performance style. This transformation from natural blonde to dyed black hair is one of many carefully crafted elements of Elvis's iconic image, alongside his distinctive fashion choices and performance style. It's a lesser-known fact about the king of rock and roll that adds an interesting dimension to understanding how deliberately he and his management team crafted his public image. It's a lesser-known fact about the king of rock and roll that adds an interesting dimension to understanding how deliberately he and his management team crafted his public image.
The first movie ever copyrighted was a groundbreaking 2-second film titled Fred Ott's Sneeze, or Edison Kinetoscopic Record of a Sneeze, created in 1894. This short film holds historical significance as it represents one of the earliest examples of motion picture technology and its formal protection under copyright law. The film was produced by the Edison Manufacturing Company, a pioneer in the development of early cinematic devices and techniques. The subject of the film, Fred Ott, was an employee of Thomas Edison and a frequent collaborator in his experiments. In this clip, Ott is seen performing an exaggerated sneeze, a simple yet captivating action for audiences of the time. The motion of a sneeze was chosen likely because it demonstrated the ability of moving images to capture fleeting dynamic moments that could not be replicated in still photography. Fred Ott's Sneeze was registered with the Library of Congress on January 7, 1894, under the newly established copyright laws applicable to motion pictures. This act not only protected the film, but also underscored the growing recognition of cinema as a form of intellectual property worth safeguarding. It reflects the era's burgeoning appreciation of filmmaking as both an art form and a commercial enterprise. Although it may seem trivial today, the film was revolutionary for its time, marking a key milestone in the evolution of cinema. It also highlights how early filmmakers, including Edison, sought to secure their work against unauthorized duplication and to capitalize on the emerging industry of moving images. Today, Fred Ott's Sneeze serves as a fascinating artifact of cinematic history, representing the humble beginnings of an art form that would grow into one of the most influential mediums of the modern age.
Fredric J. Baur's legacy is as unique as the invention he left behind. As the inventor of the Pringles can, he transformed how snacks are packaged and consumed, addressing the common frustrations of chip lovers everywhere. Before Pringles, traditional snack packaging, typically large bags, was notorious for leaving chips crushed at the bottom and stale soon after opening. Baur's cylindrical can, with its airtight lid and stackable design, not only solved these issues, but also gave Pringles their distinct and iconic identity. His work as a chemist and food storage expert at Procter & Gamble was pivotal in bringing this innovation to life. Baur's sense of pride in his invention went beyond professional achievement. It was deeply personal, so much so that he made an unusual request to his family. When he passed away, he wanted a portion of his ashes to be interred in a Pringles can. This wish was both a humorous nod to his creation and a heartfelt expression of his connection to his work. When he died in 2008 at the age of 89, his family honored this unique request. They chose an original flavor Pringles can to reflect the first iteration of the product he helped bring into existence. The can was then buried along with the rest of his remains, a fitting tribute to a man who changed the snack world forever. The story of Baur's burial in a Pringles can has become a symbol of his creativity and dedication. It demonstrates how deeply an invention can intertwine with a person's identity. For Baur, the can was not just a product, it was an embodiment of his innovative spirit and problem-solving mindset. This quirky yet touching gesture resonates with many who hear about it, offering a glimpse into the personality of the man behind one of the most recognizable snack packages in the world. In the years since his death, Baur's unusual final resting place has turned into a charming piece of pop culture lore. It highlights the idea that innovation can have lasting effects, not only on industries but also on the memories people leave behind. Baur's request, carried out with love and respect by his family, ensures that his contribution to the snack world will never be forgotten. It's a story that combines humor, legacy, and the enduring power of a creative mind.
The song Happy Birthday to You has an interesting and complicated history when it comes to copyright. For years, it was considered one of the most recognizable and widely sung songs in the world. Despite its ubiquity, Happy Birthday was long entangled in legal battles over who held the rights to the song and whether those rights were enforceable. The melody of Happy Birthday dates back to the late 19th century, originally composed by Patty Hill and her sister Mildred J. Hill as a classroom greeting song titled Good Morning to All. The lyrics for Happy Birthday were later added, but the authorship of these lyrics remains unclear. The song was eventually published in various forms and its popularity grew, leading to disputes over ownership. Warner Chappell Music acquired the rights to the song in the 1980s, claiming that the copyright on the lyrics was valid. For decades, Warner Chappell charged royalties for the commercial use of the song, generating millions of dollars annually. However, the copyright faced significant challenges. Critics argued that the song should be in the public domain, especially since the melody was much older and the lyrics were not conclusively proven to belong to Warner Chappell. In 2013, a lawsuit was filed by filmmakers seeking to use the song without paying hefty licensing fees. The legal battle culminated in a landmark decision in 2016 when a federal court ruled that Warner Chappell did not hold a valid copyright on the song's lyrics. The court determined that the song was already in the public domain, as no definitive proof of copyright ownership existed for the specific lyrics. This decision effectively freed Happy Birthday for public use, and Warner Chappell agreed to settle the lawsuit by refunding millions of dollars in previously collected licensing fees. Despite this ruling, there are occasional misunderstandings about the song's copyright status. Some sources mistakenly claim that the song remains copyrighted until 2030, possibly due to confusion about the varying expiration dates of copyrights and the details of the legal case. Today, Happy Birthday is widely considered part of the public domain, allowing people to sing or use it in any context without fear of legal repercussions. The case remains a milestone in copyright law, highlighting the importance of public access to cultural works and challenging the commercialization of such universally shared traditions.
The story of the first email ever sent is a fascinating glimpse into the early days of digital communication. In 1971, a computer engineer named Ray Tomlinson sent the first email as part of an experiment while working on ARPANET, the precursor to the modern Internet. Tomlinson was tasked with exploring ways to allow computers to communicate with one another over a network. In the process, he developed the email system and introduced the use of the @ symbol to separate a user's name from their computer's address, a practice that remains standard to this day. To test his new system, Tomlinson sent the first email message between two computers that were sitting side by side, connected through ARPANET. The content of this historic message was not particularly meaningful. It was simply a string of characters, QWERTY, the first line of letters on a keyboard. The message served as a placeholder, much like a test message, because the primary goal was to demonstrate that the technology worked. Tomlinson later admitted that he did not document the exact text of the first email, but it was likely something quick and simple, such as random keystrokes. Although the content of the first email was trivial, the innovation behind it was revolutionary. Tomlinson's invention laid the groundwork for email as we know it today, transforming communication in the decades that followed. By enabling people to send messages electronically, email eliminated the constraints of time and physical distance, profoundly impacting personal and professional communication. The first email also highlighted the simplicity and utility of the technology. At the time, Tomlinson had no idea how significant his creation would become. He once remarked that he didn't think the email was particularly important at the time. It was just another project he was working on. However, his contribution is now recognized as a milestone in the history of computing and communication. Ray Tomlinson's innovation continues to shape the modern digital world, where billions of emails are sent daily. The simplicity of that initial message, whether it was quirky or something similarly mundane, stands in stark contrast to the complex, multifaceted role email plays in our lives today. It serves as a reminder that even the most revolutionary inventions often have humble beginnings.
Alfred Hitchcock, the legendary filmmaker known for his mastery of suspense and psychological horror, harbored an unusual fear. He was afraid of eggs. This peculiar aversion, known as ovophobia, was one of Hitchcock's more eccentric traits and has fascinated fans and biographers alike. Hitchcock himself openly admitted to this fear in interviews, describing eggs as something he found deeply unsettling. Hitchcock's fear of eggs stemmed from their appearance and texture, which he described as strange and revolting. In one interview, he elaborated on his feelings, stating, "I'm frightened of eggs, that white round thing without any holes. Have you ever seen anything more revolting than an egg yolk breaking and spilling its yellow liquid?" This visceral reaction to eggs was surprising, given Hitchcock's otherwise fearless approach to exploring dark and unsettling themes in his films. Interestingly, his aversion to eggs contrasts sharply with his fascination with birds, which play a central role in his iconic film, The Birds. While he seemed comfortable working with birds as part of his storytelling, the idea of consuming or even handling eggs was repellent to him. This contradiction has led some to speculate that Hitchcock's egg phobia was more rooted in their sensory properties, like their slimy texture and fragility, rather than any logical association with birds. Hitchcock's fear of eggs also offers insight into his creative mind. He had a knack for identifying seemingly ordinary things and imbuing them with a sense of dread or unease in his films. His discomfort with eggs may have reflected his ability to see menace in the mundane, a skill that made his movies so uniquely chilling. While eggs never featured prominently as a symbol in his films, his egg phobia became part of the mystique surrounding his personality. Hitchcock's fear of eggs is a reminder that even the most celebrated figures can have quirks and vulnerabilities. It humanizes the master of suspense, offering a glimpse into the idiosyncrasies of the man behind the camera. Despite his fear, Hitchcock's legacy remains untouched by this curious phobia, with his work continuing to inspire and terrify audiences worldwide.
The phenomenon of exploding ants is most famously observed in a group of ants from the genus Colobopsis, previously classified under Camponotus. These ants, colloquially known as exploding ants or kamikaze ants, are found primarily in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. This unique defense mechanism is both fascinating and extreme, making these ants a striking example of self-sacrificial behavior in the animal kingdom. When threatened, specific worker ants in the colony, known as minor workers, act as a living bomb to protect their nest. By contracting their abdominal muscles, they rupture specialized glands filled with a sticky, toxic substance. The resulting explosion sprays the adhesive liquid onto the attacker, immobilizing or killing it. This act of self-destruction, known as autothysis, is fatal to the individual ant, but serves to safeguard the colony. The substance often has an unpleasant odor and can act as both a physical deterrent and a chemical weapon. The most well-documented species demonstrating this behavior is Colobopsis explodens, which was officially described in 2018. These ants live in large colonies, often inhabiting trees and foraging for resources in their forest environments. Only specific members of the colony, the minor workers, are capable of performing this dramatic act of defense. Other members, such as major workers and the Queen, do not exhibit this explosive behavior, but contribute to the colony's survival in other ways. The evolution of this extreme form of altruism highlights the importance of colony-level survival over individual survival in social insects. By sacrificing themselves, these ants ensure the protection of the queen and other colony members, preserving the group's genetic lineage. This extraordinary strategy underscores the complex and highly specialized nature of ant societies, where individuals often function as parts of a larger superorganism. Exploding ants are a vivid reminder of the diversity of life strategies in nature, showcasing how organisms adapt to their ecological niches in surprising and innovative ways. Their dramatic self-sacrificial behavior continues to intrigue biologists and underscores the importance of studying even the smallest creatures to understand the broader dynamics of life on Earth.
Pigeons possess remarkable cognitive abilities, and one of the most fascinating is their capacity for self-recognition in mirrors. This ability, often considered a hallmark of advanced intelligence, has been demonstrated in experiments involving pigeons, challenging the assumption that such behavior is exclusive to humans and a few other animals like dolphins, elephants, and great apes. The phenomenon of self-recognition is typically tested using the mirror test, a behavioral experiment developed by psychologist Gordon Gallup Jr. in 1970. In this test, an animal is marked with a visible, odorless spot on a part of its body that it cannot see without a mirror. If the animal uses the mirror to investigate and attempt to remove the mark, it is considered evidence of self-awareness. Studies on pigeons, particularly those conducted by researchers like Shigeru Watanabe, have shown that these birds can pass a modified version of the mirror test. While pigeons may not pass the test in the same way as primates or elephants, they exhibit behaviors indicating they understand the reflection is not another bird, but rather an image of themselves. For instance, pigeons have been trained to use mirrors to locate hidden objects or to identify marks on their bodies, demonstrating a level of self-referential understanding. This ability suggests that pigeons possess a higher level of cognitive sophistication than traditionally assumed. Their brains, while small, are highly efficient and specialized for tasks requiring visual processing, memory, and problem-solving. Pigeons are also capable of other complex behaviors, such as distinguishing between different artistic styles, recognizing individual humans, and even identifying patterns in written language. The findings on pigeons and self-recognition challenge the conventional notion that self-awareness is limited to a few highly intelligent species. Instead, they highlight the diverse ways animals process and interpret their environments, emphasizing that intelligence manifests differently across species. These discoveries also encourage a broader perspective on animal cognition, pushing scientists to explore and appreciate the unique mental capabilities of creatures that might otherwise be underestimated.
Bubble wrap, now widely known as a protective packaging material, has an unexpectedly creative origin. It was initially invented as a type of textured wallpaper. This surprising backstory begins in 1957, when engineers Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavans sought to create a new kind of decorative wall covering. Their idea was to develop a three-dimensional plastic wallpaper by sealing two sheets of plastic with air pockets in between, giving it a unique, futuristic texture. The wallpaper concept, however, did not catch on. Consumers at the time were not particularly drawn to the unusual bumpy surface for interior design purposes. Despite this setback, Fielding and Chavan recognized the potential of their invention in other applications. They began experimenting with the material for insulation and greenhouse use, but it wasn't until 1960 that bubble wrap found its true purpose. The turning point came when the duo founded Sealed Air Corporation and marketed bubble wrap as a packaging material. IBM was one of their first major clients, using bubble wrap to protect delicate computer components during shipping. The material's lightweight, cushioning properties and ability to protect fragile items from damage made it an instant success in the packaging industry. Over the years, bubble wrap has become synonymous with safe shipping and handling, and it's now used globally to transport everything from electronics to glassware. Bubble wrap has also become a source of entertainment and stress relief. The irresistible urge to pop the small air-filled bubbles has turned the material into a playful and therapeutic pastime for many. This unintended side effect has contributed to its enduring popularity, even beyond its practical uses. The history of bubble wrap serves as a reminder of how innovation and adaptability can transform an idea that initially fails into a global success. What started as an unconventional wallpaper concept evolved into one of the most ubiquitous and beloved packaging solutions, proving that even the quirkiest inventions can find their purpose with a little creativity and persistence.
Clouds, those seemingly weightless formations drifting across the sky, are far heavier than they appear. In fact, an average cumulus cloud, the fluffy, white kind commonly seen on sunny days, can weigh over 1 million pounds. This surprising fact highlights the fascinating physics behind these everyday natural phenomena. Clouds are composed of countless tiny water droplets or ice crystals that form when warm, moist air rises and cools, causing water vapor to condense. While each individual droplet is minuscule, often smaller than a grain of sand, the combined mass of all the droplets in a cloud adds up quickly. A typical cumulus cloud, for instance, may contain about 500 million grams of water per cubic meter, and with clouds often spanning several kilometers in volume, the total weight can exceed 1 million pounds. Despite their immense weight, clouds remain suspended in the sky due to the way the droplets are dispersed. The water droplets in a cloud are so small that they are buoyed by rising warm air and the upward forces of turbulence. This allows them to float, seemingly defying gravity. Additionally, the density of the droplets is much lower than that of solid or liquid water, further contributing to the cloud's ability to stay aloft. The weight of a cloud is often compared to physical objects for perspective. 1 million pounds is roughly equivalent to the weight of about 100 elephants or a fully loaded jumbo jet. This immense mass is spread over such a large area that it doesn't exert noticeable force on the ground below, unlike rainfall where the condensed droplets combine and fall as precipitation. Understanding the weight of clouds not only deepens our appreciation for atmospheric phenomena, but also sheds light on the complex interplay of physics and meteorology that governs our weather systems. Clouds play a crucial role in regulating Earth's climate by reflecting sunlight, trapping heat and cycling water through precipitation. Their deceptively delicate appearance masks their true complexity and importance, reminding us that even the most familiar aspects of nature can hold incredible secrets.
The snakehead fish, a cousin of the goldfish, is an extraordinary species known for its ability to survive extreme conditions, including living without a head for days under certain circumstances. This remarkable feat highlights the snakehead's highly adaptable biology and resilience, earning it a reputation as one of nature's most formidable survivors. Snakehead fish, specifically the chana species, possess a robust circulatory system and an advanced nerve network that allow their bodies to function autonomously for a short period, even after decapitation. This capability stems from their biology, which supports limited survival independent of their brain. The phenomenon is most evident in cases where the fish's decapitation leaves enough tissue intact to sustain basic physiological functions. For instance, their musculature and reflexive responses can continue briefly, as the body does not instantly shut down after losing the head. Snakeheads are obligate air breathers, meaning they can survive outside water by breathing atmospheric oxygen. This adaptation helps them endure harsh environments, such as stagnant or oxygen-poor waters, and contributes to their resilience. Even when critically injured, their ability to absorb oxygen directly from the air can sustain their tissues for longer periods compared to fish relying solely on gills. Snakeheads are known for their invasive and adaptable nature. They can move across land using a wriggling motion and survive for extended periods out of water, provided their skin remains moist. This capability is crucial in their native environments, where they may traverse between water bodies to find better living conditions. Their resilience to injury, combined with their ability to breathe air, underscores their reputation as survival specialists. While the snakehead fish's biological toughness is fascinating, it has also made them a problematic invasive species in areas outside their native range. Snakeheads have been introduced to ecosystems worldwide, often through the pet trade or intentional release. Their voracious appetite and ability to outcompete native species pose significant threats to biodiversity. Many countries now regulate or ban the possession and release of snakeheads to prevent ecological damage. The snakehead's capacity to survive extreme conditions, including headless survival under certain scenarios, showcases the astonishing adaptability of life. This trait serves as a testament to the evolutionary pressures that shaped the snakehead into a tenacious and resilient predator. It also highlights the need for careful study and management of species with such extraordinary characteristics to balance ecological preservation and scientific curiosity.
Spider silk is one of nature's most remarkable materials, often cited for being stronger than steel of the same thickness. This incredible property, combined with its lightweight and flexibility, has fascinated scientists and engineers for decades. Understanding spider silk's unique characteristics reveals why it stands as a marvel of biomaterials. Spider silk is incredibly strong for its size, with some types of silk, such as dragline silk, having a tensile strength of up to 1.3 gigapascals. This strength is comparable to steel, which typically has a tensile strength ranging from 0.2 to 1.2 gigapascals, depending on the alloy. However, spider silk's advantages go beyond strength. It is significantly lighter than steel and highly elastic, capable of stretching up to 5 times its original length without breaking. These combined properties make spider silk tougher than steel in terms of energy absorption and durability. The strength of spider silk arises from its unique protein-based structure. It is composed of long chains of amino acids, particularly glycine and alanine, which arrange themselves into crystalline regions within the silk. These regions provide strength, while amorphous non-crystalline sections allow for elasticity. This hierarchical structure gives spider silk its unparalleled combination of strength and flexibility. Biological function. Spiders use silk for various purposes, including building webs, wrapping prey, creating egg sacs, and forming drag lines for movement and escape. Different types of silk produced by the same spider serve specific functions, with variations in strength, elasticity, and adhesive properties. Dragline silk, used as a lifeline, is among the strongest types, ensuring the spider's safety during movement or in the face of predators. Potential applications. The exceptional properties of spider silk have inspired efforts to replicate it for industrial and medical applications. Scientists have studied ways to produce synthetic spider silk through genetic engineering, using organisms like bacteria, yeast, and even goats to produce silk proteins. Potential applications include creating ultra-strong ropes, bulletproof clothing, biodegradable fishing lines, and medical sutures. Spider silk's biocompatibility and non-toxicity also make it a promising material for regenerative medicine, such as scaffolding for tissue growth. Challenges in replication. Despite its potential, mass-producing spider silk remains a challenge. Spiders produce limited amounts of silk, and farming spiders is impractical due to their territorial and cannibalistic behavior. Efforts to synthesize spider silk in the lab have yielded some success, but recreating its precise molecular structure and properties on a large scale has proven complex and expensive. A marvel of nature. Spider silk's ability to outperform steel while being lightweight and sustainable underscores the ingenuity of nature's designs. It has become a symbol of biomimicry, inspiring innovations across multiple fields. As research progresses, spider silk may one day revolutionize industries ranging from textiles to medicine, proving that some of the most extraordinary materials come from the natural world.
The story of the Frisbee's inventor being turned into a Frisbee after his death is both unusual and fitting, perfectly capturing the legacy of a man who left an enduring mark on recreational culture. Walter Morrison, often credited with inventing the modern Frisbee, had an extraordinary connection to the iconic flying disc, a connection that extended even after his passing. Walter Morrison, along with his partner Warren Francione, invented the first prototype of what would become the Frisbee in the late 1940s. They initially called it the Pluto platter, inspired by the fascination with UFOs during that era. Morrison's design was simple but effective. A lightweight aerodynamic disc that could be thrown long distances and caught with ease. In 1957, the rights to the Pluto platter were sold to the toy company Wham-O, which rebranded it as the Frisbee. The name was inspired by the Frisbee Pie Company, whose pie tins had been used by college students for tossing games decades earlier. The Frisbee quickly became a cultural phenomenon, loved by people of all ages, for its simplicity and versatility. It also gave rise to sports like ultimate frisbee and disc golf, further cementing its place in recreational history. Morrison had a deep personal attachment to his invention, viewing the Frisbee as more than just a toy, but as a symbol of creativity and joy. After his death in 2010 at the age of 90, his wishes reflected this connection. His ashes were molded into a Frisbee. This unusual tribute was arranged by his family, who saw it as a fitting way to honor his legacy and passion. Morrison's posthumous transformation into a Frisbee symbolized not only his creative ingenuity but also the enduring spirit of fun and play associated with his invention. His family reportedly cherished the memorial Frisbee, keeping it as a reminder of the man who revolutionized recreational games with a simple flying disc. Walter Morrison's Frisbee continues to be a beloved part of global culture, with millions of discs sold every year and countless games played in parks, beaches and backyards. His unusual choice to become part of a Frisbee after death adds an extra layer of charm to the story of this iconic invention, underscoring the playful spirit that the Frisbee represents. This tale of innovation, passion and a uniquely personal farewell is a reminder of how one person's creativity can leave an indelible impact on the world, and how their legacy can literally take flight.
The smell of freshly cut grass, a scent often associated with summer and outdoor activities, is actually a plant's distress signal. When grass or other plants are damaged, such as during mowing or grazing, they release a complex mix of chemicals known as green leaf volatiles, or GLVs. These volatile organic compounds serve multiple purposes in the plant's defense and communication strategies. What are green leaf volatiles, or GLVs? GLVs are a group of chemicals that plants produce when their tissues are injured. These compounds include aldehydes, alcohols, and esters, which together create the characteristic fresh-cut grass aroma. While humans find this smell pleasant and nostalgic, for plants, it serves as a critical response to physical damage. Why do plants release GLVs? The release of GLVs after damage is a survival mechanism for plants. These compounds play several important roles. First, attracting predators of herbivores. Some GLVs act as a chemical signal to attract predators or parasitoids that feed on herbivorous insects. For example, if a caterpillar chews on a plant, the emitted GLVs might draw in parasitic wasps that attack the caterpillar, reducing the plant's damage. Second, warning nearby plants. GLVs can serve as a warning signal to neighboring plants, prompting them to activate their own defense mechanisms. This may include producing bitter-tasting chemicals or strengthening their cell walls to deter further herbivory. And third, healing and defense. Within the damaged plant itself, GLVs help kickstart internal healing processes. They can signal the plant to produce antimicrobial compounds to prevent infection at the wound site and to focus resources on repairing the damage. While the release of GLVs is a biochemical response, the way humans perceive it adds an interesting layer. The scent of cut grass is associated with positive emotions and nostalgia, likely due to its connection with outdoor leisure activities and pleasant weather. This human reaction is purely psychological and unrelated to the plant's intent, but it demonstrates how biological processes in nature can evoke deep sensory responses. The discovery of GLVs and their roles in plant communication challenges the traditional view of plants as passive organisms. It underscores the complexity of plant behavior, revealing that plants have evolved sophisticated ways to interact with their environment and respond to threats. This understanding has practical applications in agriculture, where manipulating GLV signaling could improve pest management and crop resilience. What seems like a simple, pleasant smell is actually a plant's way of signaling distress and defending itself. This newfound perspective on the aroma of freshly cut grass not only deepens our understanding of plant biology, but also reminds us of the intricate and dynamic ways plants engage with their environment. It is a testament to the complexity of life on Earth, even in the smallest and most familiar phenomena.
New Zealand is famously known for having more sheep than people, a fact that has long been a defining feature of the country's agricultural identity and cultural image. This unique statistic highlights the significance of sheep farming in New Zealand's economy, landscape, and way of life. As of recent estimates, New Zealand is home to approximately 5 million people. However, the sheep population has historically dwarfed the human population. In the 1980s, there were over 70 million sheep in the country, giving it one of the highest sheep-to-human ratios in the world, around 22 sheep per person. While the number of sheep has decreased significantly over the decades due to diversification in agriculture and changing market demands, there are still around 25 million sheep in New Zealand today. This puts the current ratio at about 5 sheep per person, which is still remarkable. Sheep farming has been a cornerstone of New Zealand's economy since the 19th century, when European settlers introduced sheep to the islands. The country's temperate climate, rolling pastures and ample land made it ideal for raising sheep. Over time, sheep farming became a dominant industry, with New Zealand becoming a leading global exporter of wool, lamb and mutton. Wool in particular was a driving force behind the economy for much of the 20th century. New Zealand's high-quality wool is prized for its durability and versatility, and the country continues to be a major player in the international wool market, although synthetic alternatives have reduced global demand. In recent years, New Zealand's agricultural landscape has shifted with a greater focus on dairy farming, wine production and other industries. This diversification has led to a decline in the number of sheep, but they remain an integral part of the agricultural sector. New Zealand lamb is still a sought-after product in international markets, particularly in Europe and Asia. Sheep are deeply embedded in New Zealand's cultural identity. They are often featured in jokes, stereotypes and tourism campaigns that play on the country's rural charm. For example, the image of a lone shepherd with a flock of sheep against a backdrop of New Zealand's stunning landscapes is iconic. Tourists can even visit sheep farms to experience sheep shearing demonstrations and learn about the industry firsthand. Events like the Golden Shears, an international sheep shearing competition, also highlight the skills and traditions associated with sheep farming in the country. While other countries, such as Australia and Wales, also have large sheep populations, New Zealand's sheep-to-human ratio is among the highest in the world. It serves as a quirky and enduring fact that underscores the country's deep connection to its pastoral roots. New Zealand's status as a land of more sheep than people reflects its agricultural history and the role sheep farming has played in shaping its economy, culture and identity. While the numbers have declined over the years, the sheep still outnumber the human population, making this statistic a fascinating and enduring aspect of New Zealand's national character.
The unicorn, a mythical creature often associated with purity, grace and untamed power, holds the unique distinction of being Scotland's national animal. This surprising yet fitting choice reflects Scotland's rich cultural heritage, blending myth, symbolism and history to create a national emblem that is as enchanting as it is meaningful. Scotland's association with the unicorn dates back centuries, rooted in Celtic mythology and medieval traditions. In Celtic lore, the unicorn was a symbol of innocence, purity and healing, but also of ferocity and strength. These qualities made the unicorn an appealing symbol for a nation with a long history of fierce independence and resilience. During the late Middle Ages and Renaissance, the unicorn became a prominent feature in European heraldry and art, often depicted as a majestic creature with a single spiraling horn. In Scottish heraldry, unicorns were associated with the monarchy and appeared on royal coats of arms. By the 15th century, the unicorn was firmly established as a symbol of Scottish royalty, representing the virtues and ideals of the nation. The unicorn's official status as a national symbol of Scotland can be traced to its inclusion in the royal coat of arms. During the reign of James VI of Scotland, later James I of England, the Scottish and English coats of arms were combined following the union of the crowns in 1603. The Scottish arms featured two unicorns as supporters of the shield, symbolising strength and purity. After the union, one unicorn remained alongside England's lion, symbolising the union of the two kingdoms. Unicorns in heraldry are often depicted with a chain around their necks, a detail that may seem contradictory to the creature's association with freedom. However, this imagery symbolises the taming of a wild and powerful force, reflecting the idea that the unicorn was so strong and untamable it could only be subdued by a worthy ruler. The choice of the unicorn as Scotland's national animal highlights the nation's love for mythology and storytelling. It also speaks to Scotland's enduring spirit and identity as a land of mystery, beauty and strength. The unicorn is deeply woven into Scottish cultural heritage, appearing in various works of art, architecture and modern representations of national pride. Tourists visiting Scotland today can find unicorn imagery on historical buildings, monuments and even modern government insignias. The creature's presence serves as a reminder of Scotland's unique identity and its embrace of both historical and mythical elements. While the unicorn is a mythical creature, its symbolic qualities align closely with Scotland's national character. The combination of purity, strength, and a touch of mystery captures the essence of a country celebrated for its rugged landscapes, rich traditions, and independent spirit. Scotland's choice of the unicorn as its national animal is a testament to the country's ability to blend history, mythology, and cultural identity into a symbol that resonates deeply with its people. The unicorn, both magical and majestic, represents the ideals of Scotland's past and present, making it a truly unique and meaningful national emblem. If Earth's history were compressed into a single 24-hour day, humans would appear in the last minute at 11:59 p.m. This analogy provides a vivid perspective on the vast timescale of Earth's 4.5 billion-year history and highlights just how brief humanity's presence has been in the grand timeline of the planet. In this analogy, Earth forms at midnight, marking the beginning of the day. For the next several hours, the planet undergoes significant geological and chemical changes, including the formation of its crust and the early oceans. Life first appears around 4 a.m. in the form of simple, single-celled organisms. These microorganisms dominate for most of the day, as Earth remains a microbial world for billions of years. Around 2 p.m., photosynthetic organisms begin producing oxygen, leading to the Great Oxidation Event, a major turning point that transforms Earth's atmosphere and makes it more hospitable for complex life. The first multicellular life appears around 8 o'clock in the evening, followed by the Cambrian explosion at 9 o'clock. This period sees the rapid diversification of complex organisms in the oceans. By 10:30 in the evening, plants, insects and early animals begin colonizing land. Dinosaurs dominate for nearly an hour, starting around 11 p.m., but they are wiped out by a mass extinction event at 11:40 p.m. Mammals and birds then rise to prominence, paving the way for the eventual emergence of humans. It is only in the final seconds of the day, at 11:59:40 p.m., that anatomically modern humans, Homo sapiens, appear. Within this fleeting moment, humans rapidly developed tools, agriculture, and civilizations, eventually reaching the modern industrial and technological era. Despite their relatively short tenure, humans have profoundly impacted Earth's ecosystems, geology, and climate. This compressed timeline underscores the fleeting nature of humanity's existence relative to Earth's long history. It also serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness and fragility of life on our planet, emphasizing the importance of stewardship for the future.
A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance, a fitting term for these strikingly colorful and social birds. The word flamboyance reflects the flamingos' vivid plumage, elegant posture, and their tendency to gather in large, visually stunning groups. This collective noun encapsulates their unique blend of grace and flamboyant appearance. Flamingos are known for their pink or reddish hues, which come from carotenoid pigments in the algae, brine shrimp, and other organisms they consume. These colors are often associated with flamboyance and vibrancy, making the name particularly appropriate. When gathered in large numbers, flamingos create an almost surreal visual spectacle, whether they're wading in shallow lakes or flying in coordinated formations. The social nature of flamingos is another reason the term flamboyance suits them so well. Flamingos are highly gregarious birds that thrive in large colonies, which can number in the thousands. This social structure provides protection from predators and enhances breeding success. Within these colonies, flamingos engage in synchronized behaviors such as group preening and elaborate courtship displays, further highlighting their dramatic and expressive nature. Flamingo colonies also play a crucial role in their survival. Their collective behavior helps regulate environmental conditions like water levels in breeding areas, ensuring that nests are protected from flooding or predators. This interdependence within a flamboyance demonstrates their cooperative and dynamic way of life. The term flamboyance is not only scientifically descriptive, but also evocative, capturing the essence of these birds' vibrant, social, and visually captivating existence. It serves as a delightful reminder of the natural world's creativity and beauty.
The word sandwich originates from John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich, an 18th century English nobleman. According to popular legend, the Earl's name became forever associated with this culinary innovation due to his gambling habits. The story goes that during long hours at the gaming table, Montagu would request meals consisting of meat placed between 2 slices of bread. This practical arrangement allowed him to eat without leaving the table or soiling his cards, combining convenience with sustenance. The Earl of Sandwich likely did not invent the concept of eating meat and other fillings between bread. Variations of this practice existed in different cultures long before his time. However, his preference for this simple, portable meal popularized it among his peers. Others began to order the same as sandwich, and the name stuck, eventually becoming a generic term for this style of food. This anecdote also reflects broader cultural and culinary trends of the time. In 18th century Europe, food was becoming more portable and adaptable to suit the increasingly busy lives of the upper classes. The sandwich's simplicity and practicality made it a hit not only in England but eventually around the world, evolving into countless variations across cultures. Today, the sandwich has grown far beyond its aristocratic origins, encompassing everything from classic ham and cheese to elaborate gourmet creations. It is celebrated for its versatility, as it can be adapted to fit any cuisine, dietary preference or occasion. The story of its naming serves as a reminder of how chance moments in history can influence language and everyday life.
The statement that more people have been to the moon than the Mariana Trench underscores the vast challenges and mysteries of exploring the deep ocean, despite its relative proximity compared to space. As of now, 12 astronauts have walked on the moon during NASA's Apollo missions, whereas only a handful of people, fewer than 10, have descended to the Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific Ocean, is the deepest natural point on Earth, plunging nearly 11 kilometers, about 7 miles, beneath the ocean's surface. The extreme conditions at such depths, including immense pressure, over 1,000 times atmospheric pressure at sea level, near freezing temperatures and complete darkness, make it an extraordinarily hostile environment. Specialized technology such as deep-sea submersibles is required for exploration, and missions are both risky and costly. In contrast to the Moon, though 384,400 kilometers, or about 239,000 miles, away from Earth, presents challenges of its own, such as the vacuum of space and radiation exposure. However, the Moon's environment is more static and predictable compared to the dynamic and crushing depths of the ocean. Since the Moon was a strategic focus during the Cold War space race, significant resources were invested in developing the technology to reach it, leading to its relatively greater exploration. The disparity in exploration also highlights humanity's fascination with space and the relative neglect of the ocean. While outer space is seen as the final frontier, Earth's deep ocean remains largely unexplored. More than 80% of it is unmapped and unseen by human eyes. Yet the deep ocean holds immense scientific value, harboring unique ecosystems, geological features, and insights into Earth's history. This comparison emphasizes the need to balance exploration efforts between space and the deep sea. Both realms offer profound opportunities for discovery and understanding, but the Mariana Trench serves as a reminder of the mysteries still waiting to be uncovered in our own backyard.
The idea that the average person will spend about 6 months of their life waiting for red lights to turn green is a striking statistic that highlights how much of our lives is spent in seemingly mundane activities. This estimate is based on the cumulative time a person spends driving throughout their lifetime, considering the average commute and the frequency of red lights encountered during daily travel. For most people, driving is an essential activity, whether for commuting to work, running errands, or traveling for leisure. In urban areas, where traffic lights are more common and congestion is higher, the time spent waiting at red lights can add up significantly. Over the course of an average lifespan of about 75 to 80 years, those moments of idling at intersections accumulate to roughly 180 days, half a year. This statistic also serves as a reminder of how modern infrastructure and transportation systems shape our lives. Traffic lights, while a source of delay, are crucial for maintaining safety and order on the roads. They regulate traffic flow, reduce accidents, and ensure pedestrians can cross safely. However, their efficiency can vary depending on city planning, traffic patterns, and the use of advanced technologies like smart traffic systems. On a broader level, this fact prompts reflection on how time is spent and the importance of making the most of moments that might otherwise feel wasted. Some drivers use the time at red lights to relax, listen to music, or even reflect. With the rise of technology, many people now use those moments to quickly check their phones, though this is discouraged for safety reasons. Efforts to reduce the time spent at red lights include the implementation of synchronized traffic lights, adaptive traffic signal control systems, and alternative transportation methods like biking and walking. For individuals, carpooling or using public transit can also help minimize the impact of waiting at red lights. Ultimately, this statistic highlights how even small, routine parts of daily life can have a surprisingly large cumulative effect, emphasizing the importance of thoughtful city planning and efficient transportation solutions.
The hashtag symbol, often seen as hash, is technically called an Octothorpe, a name that is as unique as it is intriguing. This term originated in the mid-20th century, primarily through the telecommunications industry. While the exact origins of the name are debated, the most widely accepted explanation is that the term was coined by workers at Bell Labs during the 1960s when the symbol was added to telephone keypads. The prefix octo refers to the symbol's 8 points or edges, which are formed by the two intersecting horizontal and vertical lines. The second part of the word, thorpe, is less clear. Some believe it was added as a humorous or arbitrary suffix, possibly referencing the Olympian athlete Jim Thorpe, though this connection is speculative. Others suggest it was a playful nod to linguistic traditions or internal jokes within Bell Labs. Historically, the symbol itself predates its telephone use. It evolved from the Latin abbreviation LB, used to denote pounds in weight, where scribes added a horizontal bar to distinguish it from the number 1. Over time, it came to be used in various contexts, including numbering, annotations, and as a shorthand in coding and programming. In the digital age, the symbol gained its modern fame as the hashtag when Twitter adopted it in 2007 as a way to group and categorize content. This innovation revolutionized how people engage with social media, making the hashtag a powerful tool for trends, movements, and communication. Despite its contemporary association with social media, its technical name, Octothorpe, endures as a quirky piece of linguistic and technological history. The Octothorpe's journey from an obscure typographical mark to a cultural and digital icon illustrates the fluidity of language and symbols. Whether you call it a pound sign, number sign, or hashtag, its technical name, Octothorpe, adds an extra layer of curiosity to this seemingly simple character.
The claim that there's enough DNA in your body to stretch to Pluto and back 17 times highlights the astonishing scale and complexity of the human genome. Each cell in your body contains about 2 meters or 6.5 feet of DNA, tightly coiled and packed into the nucleus of microscopic cells. Considering the human body has an estimated 37 trillion cells, the total length of DNA in one person is approximately 74 billion kilometers or 46 billion miles, if fully unraveled and laid end to end. To put this into perspective, the average distance from Earth to Pluto is about 5.9 billion kilometers or 3.67 billion miles. Thus, your DNA could theoretically stretch to Pluto and back 17 times, even taking into account the vast distances involved. This comparison emphasizes the sheer magnitude of biological information stored in our bodies. DNA's remarkable length is possible because of its nanoscale structure and efficient packaging. The double helix molecule is wound around histone proteins, forming chromatin, which is further compressed to fit within a cell nucleus. Despite its compact form, DNA contains all the instructions necessary for building, maintaining, and operating the human body. This comparison also underscores the elegance of nature's engineering. DNA is not only extraordinarily long, but also incredibly efficient in storing genetic information. Its sequence of just 4 chemical bases, adenine A, thymine T, cytosine C, and guanine G, provides the blueprint for all living organisms. The Pluto analogy is a powerful way to illustrate the microscopic and macroscopic wonders of biology. It reminds us of the profound complexity of life and the incredible capabilities of modern science to unravel such mysteries.
The idea that the average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world in their lifetime offers a fascinating perspective on the cumulative nature of everyday activities. The Earth's circumference is approximately 40,075 kilometers, or 24,901 miles. Over a typical lifespan of around 80 years, the average person walks about 7,500 steps per day, which translates to approximately 5.9 kilometers, or 3.7 miles, daily. When this is multiplied across a lifetime, it totals roughly 216,262 kilometers, or 134,000 miles. More than 5 trips around the planet's equator. This astounding figure is a testament to the natural mobility of humans and how small daily movements can add up to a monumental distance over time. Walking is not just a mode of transportation, it's a fundamental part of human life, whether for commuting, exercising, or simply moving through daily routines. The actual distance varies depending on lifestyle, geography, and personal habits. For instance, people in urban areas or cultures with a strong walking tradition may log significantly more steps than those who rely heavily on cars or live a more sedentary lifestyle. Walking offers immense physical and mental health benefits. It strengthens the heart, improves circulation, and reduces the risk of chronic illnesses like diabetes and obesity. Additionally, walking supports mental well-being by reducing stress, enhancing mood, and fostering creativity. Considering the sheer distance covered in a lifetime, these health benefits underscore how essential walking is to maintaining overall quality of life. The statistic also serves as a reminder of the incredible endurance and adaptability of the human body. While walking such a distance may seem daunting when framed all at once, it's a natural outcome of a lifetime of small, consistent movements. This perspective encourages us to appreciate the importance of staying active and embracing the simple, yet profound act of walking, whether for health, exploration, or the joy of movement.
The fact that fingernails grow faster on your dominant hand is a curious example of how biological processes are subtly influenced by lifestyle and activity levels. This phenomenon is primarily attributed to the increased blood flow and stimulation in the dominant hand, which is typically used more frequently in everyday activities. Since blood carries the nutrients and oxygen necessary for nail growth, the enhanced circulation to the dominant hand accelerates the growth rate of its fingernails. On average, fingernails grow about 3 millimeters or 0.12 inches per month, though this rate can vary based on factors such as age, health, diet, and even the seasons, with nails growing slightly faster in warmer months. The nails on the dominant hand benefit from more frequent movement and microtrauma from tasks like typing, writing, or manual labor, which can stimulate the nail matrix, the area at the base of the nail responsible for growth, to work more efficiently. Interestingly, nail growth is also faster on longer fingers, which is why your middle fingernail grows more quickly than your pinky nail. This is thought to be linked to the distribution of blood flow and the larger size of the nail matrix in longer fingers. Combined with the dominance factor, these growth patterns demonstrate how both anatomical and functional aspects of the body influence even seemingly trivial details like nail growth. This phenomenon has practical implications as well. For example, people who want to maintain uniform nail length may need to trim the nails on their dominant hand more frequently. It also highlights how our bodies adapt subtly to the demands of daily life, with even small details like fingernail growth reflecting the intricate interplay between biology and behavior.
The word mortgage has its origins in the Latin term mortuus, meaning dead, and the Old French word gage, meaning pledge or commitment. Together, the term translates to death pledge, a name that might sound ominous but has a logical explanation rooted in medieval legal traditions. The death in death pledge refers not to literal death, but to the termination of the obligation, either when the borrower pays off the loan or when the property is seized due to non-payment. In medieval times, property transactions often involved pledges that were binding until a debt was satisfied. The mortgage was considered dead either because the debt was fully repaid, rendering the pledge void, or because the borrower defaulted, leading to the forfeiture of the pledged property. The term highlights the seriousness of such financial agreements, where property rights were on the line. Today, a mortgage is a legal agreement in which a borrower secures a loan to purchase real estate, with the property itself serving as collateral. While the process is far more formalized and regulated in modern times, the fundamental concept remains the same. The borrower pledges to repay the debt over time, with ownership of the property fully transferring to them once the debt is satisfied. The etymology of mortgage serves as a reminder of how language often preserves historical perspectives. What once referred to a dire financial risk is now a routine aspect of home ownership for many people. However, the death pledge origins can still resonate with borrowers, as mortgages often represent a long-term commitment, sometimes spanning decades. This connection to the past offers a glimpse into the evolution of financial systems and the enduring significance of property ownership throughout history.
Thank you for watching. We hope these mind-blowing facts left you amazed and inspired. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell because there's plenty more where that came from. Stay curious and we'll see you in the next one.